Hi all, right back with more Space Empires 4X, playing with the AP bot. This is part 8. So still same day as I finished part 7, although there wasn't an awful lot done I suppose. And I've left us in the middle of things. So we're on turn 2. We've completed economic phase 5, we're now on the movement turns and we're on turn 2. Right. So we are first player. So let's move our stuff. Right, it's been a little while since I looked at what we were doing. I don't think we're doing an awful lot, but so what we got? We've got terraforming, haven't we? So we can go and get these barren planets. I've got these pipelines set up. Right, I've got a miner here. Right, well this colony ship is clearly going for Draconis. Because I remember we already had the pipeline already set up there. Well, let's say we've got another pipeline. Yeah, it's in here, isn't it? Which we just built. So this colony ship goes into here anyway. First. And then turn 3 it'll go into Draconis and set that up. So miner there, the other miners will be over here. Well, this other miner might as well just go and grab that, and then he'll be able to return with that this turn as well. Yeah, I'll be able to jump back, and I can see we've dropped minerals off there and there, so we're going to have 15 points worth of minerals. Well, unless we can get more. No, we can't for this other miner. But I'm pretty sure he's wanting to now head up. Yeah, there was a 5 minerals here, wasn't he? He's the one that's brought that back. He's now wanting to head up towards where this cruiser is. There's 10 minerals up here. There's also 10 minerals here as well. So send him up there. Although we do know that we've got a fleet coming down now as well of 90 points, haven't we? We've got 1 cruiser here. And what I say, we've got 2 cruisers here, which are also going to head up. Yeah, we don't want to go through that black hole grant, so hang on. No. So where was I heading with that pipeline? I suppose it would probably be to this barren planet, wouldn't it be? Because that's probably the next one we're going to link up. Yeah. Well, I might well end it just in here, just in case. Anyway, it's going to go into here to start with. Yeah, just try to remember. Remember, you can move other pipelines, but we're not able to connect anything up with this. We made it because we had 1 hull point left to build, which just seemed like, and we had the 3 points to build a pipeline. So I'm pretty sure that's the only reason we've done it. Yeah, and here's a case where this should be like this. I mean, I'm showing it moved with a 45 degrees, if you like, but because if I wanted to consider, oh no, that's shipyards. I was thinking these were the cruisers. The cruisers are here. Let's just say we had built a ship here, and it was still here. Then we might think, well, I've got a pipeline here, pipeline here, pipeline here. I can move and get the extra movement into here. Well, I wouldn't be able to use it because this is in its move state. This would have to be active. I'm not flipping them over when I'm moving them, but, you know, as long as I'm tilting them at 45 degrees, it's a similar sort of thing. It means that I can't use it for the extra move. Okay, that's fine. So we just got cruisers. Yeah, it's just our cruisers left. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking these are the cruisers and saying I'm not going to move up in the black hole. These are the shipyards. These are the cruisers. So, well, where he's going to, like I say, I'm not quite sure where his path's going to be. I mean, you would think his next movement is either going to be here or here. But after that, unless this miner doesn't clear here, I suppose he could go 1, 2 down into there, right enough. But he's not going to just move into deep space. At least I don't think so. I've still not found anything yet. It just says we're doing step 3. Well, option 3 here to advance the fleet. And it says through an unexplored path. An explored path through an explored path. But they've not quite cleared everything out here. However, I suppose we were going to help them out there a little bit. Yeah, I forgot about this cruiser. And he's adjacent to 4. So that could be interesting if we were to move into here, because then he wouldn't come in there, would he? Is that something we should do? Now that's not their home system there, is it? No, that's Deep Space. So it's that row there that's their home system. Right, I think. Yeah, I think I might move out. If he went one? See, if I move into there, he could technically reach me, because he could go here on that turn, and then 1, 2. But again, I was wondering about, can you move through Deep Space unexplored territory? Well, I know if this turns out to be an asteroid or a nebula, you've got to stop. But let's say we moved into that and it was a barren planet, and he's got 2 movement, and he's moved in there for 1 into the barren planet. Can he then move again? Because he's got 2 movement. I get the feeling this is probably in the base rules, isn't it? Rather than anywhere else. Let me have a look. Okay, so it is here in the base rules. Movement restrictions, 4.2. A unit may not enter a hex with a face-down unexplored system marker, a nebula, or asteroids unless it starts its turn adjacent to it. Also enter a hex with any of those markers ends that unit's movement regardless of its movement technology level. Okay, so that answers that question quite easily. So it's not just asteroids and nebula I would have to stop in. If it moves into an unexplored hex, it has to stop, and then obviously then you've got the combat step. Of course, right enough, that you couldn't then move on, or you'd be moving through it. Now, do they? No, I don't think they get allowed to do this. I don't think they get allowed to just move through unexplored deep space. That sounds wrong. I know they could move through their home system when it was unrevealed, fair enough. No, I'm not even going to go looking for that. Somebody can tell me if for some reason that is the case, but I'm not going to go hunting for it. So it would have to stop. So the best it could do, I mean, if we moved into there, the best it could do is move into there on 1, and then it could potentially move in and stop there adjacent to me. I'm not so sure it's going to do that, but and I don't know. I'm not sure about it moving into unexplored hexes. And surely that must be here, and I'm just not finding that. I mean, it talks about it'll move through a black hole if you get a die roll of 10, if it's going to attack and whatever, but restrictions and priorities. If the eligible destination hexes include threat and detrimental terrain, make a paranoia check. I get the feeling I've read a bit about this before, but I'm sort of not really finding it. Movement, hang on, detrimental terrain. Is it not maybe just in there when it talks about unexplored deep space, maybe? Okay. Right, give me a sec. Okay, so I've done a search for in the PDF document rules for unexplored, and the only relevant parts I got to what we were playing with, the AP bot, was in extermination fleets, and it's under exploration here, which I haven't read yet. I thought we'd read it together. So this is just talking extermination fleets, remember, which is not what they've got just now. So it says, if while advancing, and admittedly that's what we're doing, we're advancing, but however this is not an extermination fleet, This fleet cannot get close if while advancing, this fleet cannot get closer to target due to unexplored deep space markers, and this fleet is adjacent to an unexplored deep space marker, this fleet reveals an unexplored deep space marker as if it had exploration technology. Oh. That's cheeky. This occurs regardless of whether or not exploration is researched. If the latter occurs, subtract 6 CPs from fleet allotment, or if known fleet from the budget column. If multiple eligible deep space markers may be revealed in this way, select the one closest to the target homeworld. This fleet will not move this turn. So it just explores. And that's if it's not got an option of advancing then. Yeah, it cannot get closer. But that is just for extermination fleets. There's not an option within an expansion fleet here that talks the same. There's no exploration bit here. So my take is it can't do that at all then. And even the defense options down here, which is not what it is, but yeah, so I'm going to assume that it can't move into them, it won't move into them, and that's that. Whether I sort of start using a bit more common sense with the miners to try and clear a path for them, I suppose I could step in there a little bit. But this could depend on what this does, because if this cruiser does explore here and is able to move into there, I don't think that miner will move into there. It might explore the hex, yeah, but I don't think it's going to move in, because then it's going to move into a threatened hex, isn't it? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's see might as well stir things up a little bit. Let's explore G3 with this cruiser. And it is a cruiser, yeah. So G3, let's go for that. Right, we get danger. Okay, well that's kind of good, because that does remove that and make it explored. It's an explored deep space hex now. I sort of feel like I should go in. Well, hold on here, Grant. If you move in there, right, there's the fleet there, just, well, it's on camera. I think we've still got a cruiser just on camera there, haven't we? So if I move in there, then I've said that come their turn, which is shortly they're going to have turn 2, then this is going to either explore here or here. I want to say the preference is closer to its home system, so I want to say it's going to do this one, preferential. So let's say that gets removed, and then that's then a clear path to there, and I've moved into there. Now he'll still do that. He'll not move into the hex because he's going to be threatened. However, he will also explore that hex, and then he'll move somewhere else. Maybe he'll move into here, or maybe he'll retreat. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet. I get the feeling remember, he's restricted to moving into a threatened hex. So if I do this, that's a threatened hex. Both of them are threatened hexes, because on turn 3 I can just move in and destroy him. So if I do move in there, he explores there, which I think is correct, but let's just say he explored there, right, even. Well, that would stop him from reaching us, but I'm pretty sure it's here. So then this fleet moves in here, and then on turn 3, 1, 2, he's in there. I mean, okay, I've still got another turn before him, and I can move back, I suppose. So, because remember, that's a fleet. That's one cruiser. That's 12 points worth. He's got 90 points. So maybe we shouldn't get all gung ho and be charging forward here. Really, to be honest, we need to step back a little bit, and we're hoping to be able to build some more ships. To be honest. So, although that prevents his miner from coming forward, I don't know though. Do I want to maybe stop his that miner, that EV from coming into here maybe by doing that? And when he moves into there, I then know that I'm threatened, if you like. Now, he won't move into there thinking he's threatened because he knows we've only got movement technology 1. I'm still not 100% sure about when they get to know that. Because we get to know it right away when their movement technology upgrades. They upgrade that right away. So I feel it's only fair that they should know we've got it whenever we, rather than wait till combat, or rather than wait until I'm seeing me moving in a way that gives me a different movement technology. It's a wee bit fiddly that. I'm not quite sure how that works. If anybody's got thoughts on how the proper way to deal with that is, then let me know. So, and then, he's then I'm sitting here. Now, if I go here, he goes here. This is open, remember. But the miner doesn't come in. And then next turn, I've got to then move back because I know that he's going to reach me. So I'd be able to move back 1, 2, and I think, because there's not anything I've read recently that says that it's going to attack a colony that's not defended or anything like that. Whereas we had previously, I think all that's different. And I think it's maybe a bit easier on us because we can defend here. I mean, it was rather fiddly before when you had to, if you started defending this colony, it would look to another colony. I mean, it might still do that, but I'm not really feeling like I'm reading. Attack the colony, preferring player-owned colonies. Hold on, I mean, there must be tiebreakers though. Prioritize first the destination with other friendly attacking. No, that's not. I'm reading the wrong thing there. It talks about current strategy, but I don't think we know what the strategy is until the fleet generation. Yeah, there's the fleet generation there. Yeah. I don't know, like, regarding tiebreakers. It just says it would go for the nearest. But then again, when it reaches, like, here, and it can maybe reach here or here, how do we decide that? There was quite a bit more detail about that in the Alien Empire scenarios. I mean, surely that must be here. I feel like I'm missing bits here. I'm missing stuff about their movement. To determine eligible movement hexes, each AP fleet performs a destination check every chance one would move. And they've got that highlighted in bold. Unless instructed to do otherwise. Criteria are given below and followed in order. If one check fails, move on to the next. Oh, here we go. Roll randomly for ties and consider the prime directive. So, use your common sense. EV movement resolution occurs before fleets. The order of movement resolution beyond this should consider the prime directive. Again, common sense. So ties are just randomly decided. However, we have to use common sense. So what we're saying here is, hang on, let's just say that he's in this hex here, and he's moving on to turn 3. He's got 2 movement points. He can move 1, 2. Remember, he would have to stop in the asteroids actually. So 1, 2 into there. He could also move 1, 2 into here. And I think he could move through this okay, just destroying it on the way. So he can move to here with 2, or he can move to here. So what do we do? I mean, if think back to our Alien Empire scenario, some of the options were, well, it depended on if it was defended or not, and then you had the tiebreakers of, it had to be within the economic phase, it could reach it, and then tiebreakers were, some of the tiebreakers involved were the biggest colony. For instance, this is a 5, this is a 3, so it would go for this one. The other tiebreaker was nearest to the homeworld, so it's kind of that one, but there's none of that here. Not that I'm seeing. It just says if there's a tie, you randomise it. So if I was sitting there, would I randomise that? What would the common sense option be? I don't know. I mean, I could have all my ships in there, all my fleets in there. But, I mean, they wouldn't know what they were at the moment. So, but I can't use common sense because I know what the ships are. That's not common sense. That's like letting him know stuff he doesn't know yet, isn't it? But well, let's just say we had some ships in here and we didn't have ships in here. Would I say, well, it's clearly better going for this? It's undefended. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought this would be more detailed than previously. I'm flipping the pages here, looking for stuff about movement and what it should prioritise, and I'm not getting anything. I mean, the strategies when they come into it, but I mean that's not. We don't see that until they become a revealed fleet, and that could be when they move into Hex. That's going to happen when we move into combat. AP in battle. I mean, I've not looked into combat or anything like that. Yeah, but that's not where we're at. We're really just trying to find where they're going to move to. And so again, just looking again, it's going to check for threats. So, before it moves, it's going to say, are we threatened? It's going to check detrimental terrain. It's going to set its posture. So, if it is threatened, I want to say it does maybe a paranoia check to see if it goes defensive or offensive. And then detrimental terrain. But apart from all that, assuming it stays offensive posture, well, no, even in defensive posture, step 1 is defend, and it says this turn, attack or move closer to enemy ships, threatening first the AP homeworld. Ships that are threatening its AP homeworld. Then colonies, prioritising those closest to the homeworld. Well, there's a priority there. That's on defence. Right, hang on then. Destination check. First, if this fleet is in or adjacent to AP home system and enemy units threaten AP home system, switch to defence. No. This turn, attack a colony or homeworld, prefer player owned. That's it. And if the only eligible hex is in through a black hole, blah blah blah. If homeworld among eligible colonies this turn. If a homeworld is among eligible colonies this turn, make a paranoia check. On a pass, attack the homeworld. On a fail, attack a colony. It doesn't say nothing about it being able to attack 2 different colonies. That's strange. I mean, I was thinking this would be far more detailed and consider a lot more things. And it's less. Is that better? Not really. I don't want to have to try and make these decisions. I prefer, having tiebreakers, even though sometimes they might not sound like they're the right choices. Okay. Well, I don't think you're going to get any answers. I don't know. I maybe should spend a little bit of time looking on the threads in the forum about the AP bot. You know, I could do a couple of searches for this. You know, AP movement. Because you sort of feel like somebody might have come up with this. I mean, it covers its back with a prime directive. Is that what it calls it? It covers its back with that all the time, but I always feel like that's a bit of a get out clause, you know. Common sense, Rule 42, prime directive, whatever you want to call it. You know, I'd rather stuff was. I don't get me wrong. There's certain little bits. I think I've done a couple already. Didn't I do one up here where I moved the minor? Clearly, it made more sense to move it into a hex, one hex over the other. I'm okay with some of that stuff like that, but this seems like it might be tricky. How do I go about defending both these colonies if I know there's a chance that he might go for that, or he might go for that? Well, we had difficulty with that in the Alien Empire scenario, because the tiebreakers made it tough to sort of... We actually, more often than not, we had to go and attack him, because we weren't sure where he was going to attack. And I mean, you want to prefer defending if you can, because you're going to get that slight benefit of maybe going first if the ships are the same rank, rating. I don't think that's the right word. Class. Is it class? Yeah, I think. Let me go and have a little browse about. Well, shouldn't we just try and get a bit more gameplay on Grant rather than going away trying to... I'm at 26 minutes. I think we're wondering if we're going to move this cruiser. I think it sort of feels silly, but it stops this EV from moving in. Makes it slightly awkward for him. But it can still open up the path though. I mean, even if he does pick this hex to explore, but I'm pretty sure it's that one, he's still opening a path there. Not a path that, you know, he would have to go round about, but it's still opening up a path. So he's going to do that either way. He's just not going to move adjacent to me. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to move in. I'm going to move in here. Just see what happens. But let's do that. And next pause I take, I'm going to go across the computer and maybe have a look around. So, well, we want to keep these cruisers together because we're going to need as much as we can. You've got to remember though that he does have better movement than you, Grant. So I'm not sure if I do want to go too far afield. Well, I'd like to get up here and maybe explore, though. So let's just move into there then, just now, with that. Right, so yeah, that was fine. Yeah, we done that through exploration technology. Yeah. So I think we moved everybody now. Move the colony ship. Move that pipeline. Move that miner. He's picked up stuff. Going to drop off. Right, that's turn 2. That's our turn 2 movement then. Okay. So on to his then. Give me a second. Right, okay, so over at him, he's got 2 EVs and a fleet, an expansion fleet. The EVs move first, and we use common sense to decide which one goes first between the two. I don't think it matters in this case. So let's just deal with this one first then. So just checking with his restrictions and priorities. The EV never intentionally enters an enemy occupied hex, a black hole, and then some of these other things that we're not playing with, or a threatened hex. So he would never move, after he's explored obviously, he would never move into there or there, because that's going to then be threatened. Okay, but he can still do the explore here. So which one does he explore first? He's looking for planets. So he prefers using exploration technology on markers closest to the AP home system, then move to maximise adjacency. But again, remember, he won't. So this is closest to the home system than that. So I was right in thinking that he's going to do that. So he's going to explore that. and H4. So let's do that first. We get barren planet and H4. Well, actually, that's what they've been looking for, isn't it? Yeah, it's right beside their home system barren planet as well. So now, what happens when we find that then? I don't know. I mean, it can't start colonising it, can it? Thing is, it's not going to move into there. I've already said this is a threatened hex, so it's not going to move there. So I think it's going to move here, because that's then going to give it, you can see it's going to be adjacent to 3. That's not going to be threatened. Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to go there. Although, finding the barren planet, what happens with that then? So this is our expansion goals table. Right, expansion goals. Goal deep space colonies is 1. Right, where does it talk about them? GC, no, that's not. No, I'm not using GC. Right, give me a minute till I find it. Right, I have no idea what happens. I done a search in the PDF for goal, because that's what this is. It's a goal deep space colony. In the econ phase, it talks about colonised barren. It says if Terraform 1 has been researched and AP home system markers are face up, place a full colony marker on the barren planet. And that's meaning this one. Regardless, once Terraforming 1 is researched, the AP gains +1 base HS roll for the remainder of the game. I mean, I know deep space rolls, yeah. Deep space colonies generate CP, okay. I mean, does that just gain? Do we just get that as a full colony? And again, does that happen in the econ phase? Maybe when we colonize their home system barren planet? I don't know. It doesn't say. I know we're going to get an extra we get an extra roll for this. We get an extra HS roll because that's in the home system. This one we get a DS roll. And the other thing is, I was reading there as I was reading. These EVs still carry on now. They still go out and search deep space. So I can only think that if they find a... Well, the thing is, hold on here, Grant. Hold on. Who's to say that if I've not got... Let's just say I had a colony ship here where this cruiser. There's nothing to stop me going in and grabbing that barren planet, is there? Deep space rolls. Deep space colonies generate CP for the fleet. But how did we get to that? That must be in the rules. When does it happen? Does it happen right now when I've just explored that? There's nothing that says that I can see. I mean, you would think it's got to be here, huh? Grow colonies. No. I don't know. Find deep space planets. That's what the EVs are doing. If AP has fewer deep space colonies than gold deep space colonies, prefer using exploration tech on markers closest to the AP home system, then move to maximum adjacency. But I mean, it doesn't tell you what to do with it. Restrictions. I don't know. I mean, we know that's what it's searching for. It's searching for a barren planet to colonise it. Does it just automatically get it? Well, if it does, it's not telling me anywhere in the rules. I'm getting annoyed. Right. It mentions there if AP has deep space colonies greater than or equal to gold deep space colonies, it's going to move adjacency to unexplored deep space markers that are furthest from the AP home system. So it's still going to move these about, looking. I mean, it could find minerals and then it'll go and tow them. But I mean, the other good, well, there's three things that you can find that are positive: minerals, which are always tens in deep space, space wrecks, which it talks about dealing with, and then barren planets that you could colonize if you've got terraforming technology. They've got terraforming technology. It must tell me here that what happens here when I discover this barren planet. But I'm not sure where to find that. Okay, let me go and hunt things down. What are we at? 35 minutes. Yeah, because I kind of need to stop here. I kind of need to know where we're at. I think this is correct that it would move here. I mean, unless it's it that gets to colonise the planet. But, I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere either. So, talks about them exploring, becoming exploration, like cruisers, basically, and also miners to tow things. Should I just pause it there for now and just do some research and looking up things? I've still got this to move, and then this will need. Remember, this gets to move 2 X's as well, so it might well, and maybe it could move 2 into here. Okay, let me go and have a look around. Right, I was away searching about. I know there was other things I should have been looking for as well, but yeah, I think the best thing to do is to go on the All Good Things threads and look through them all. Maybe in particular the ones that I've maybe searched for AP and look through some of these, just to get some information that I might be missing out on. And I couldn't find anything that tells me. I mean, it must be. I'm guessing it must be clear and obvious to everybody. And what happens in this case right now? What happens when this explored here? Got this barren planet. And okay, I've moved them on. Actually, I want to check that movement because now that we've found this, I think their goals are complete. So I think it might move differently. But yeah, I can't find any in the rules. So I've popped a question out there. I'm assuming I'm going to get a look at such and such. Probably, no, maybe I should, you know what? I always say you should look back at the very beginning of the rules when you're stuck for things like that, and they're kind of obvious at the beginning, maybe. No, I'm not really seeing anything jumping out at me there. I mean, the expansion's goals table is there, and it talks about that, but then it tells you our goal, deep space colonies, is 1. That's all I'm getting. I must be missing something. I mean, I can't believe that it's not out there that what happens when what we've just done, we've explored this hex, we've found that. What happens now regarding this? Basically, that's the question I've asked. So I'm hoping to get something back, and hopefully a rules reference to look at it as well. It must be here. I'm clearly missing obvious. So let's just double check him moving though. So this is exploration. So that's exploration before moving. But however, see, well, yeah, because it's not moved yet, Grant. If AP has fewer deep space colonies than gold deep space colonies, it did at the time. So it prefers using exploration technology marker closest to the AP home system, which we did that, right? But then move to maximise adjacency to unexplored deep space markers that are closest to the AP home system. Okay. But next time we come around to this, I think, we're not going to be looking at step 1 to find deep space planets. We're not be looking at adjacent mineral space wreck. We're not going to be looking at retreat, and I don't think. If adjacent to enemy home system, move closer to a friendly home system. Well, no, I mean, our home system is away down on this row here, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, just so I remember, when I was looking through things there, apparently there was some added to the expansion, but I've not got the expansions. There's only 12 of these, and there's 100 and somebody say it was 192 or something. It's 192 deep space markers. There's only 12 barren planets. We've found 3 ourselves, and they've found 1. Yeah, okay, maybe that's not. But I mean, 12. It was only 12. I thought that was quite. I thought there was a lot more when I seen what came out there, but anyway. Yeah, I think when it comes to next time, and hopefully we'll find out how this planet has been dealt with, this barren planet. I think we're going to go to that step 4, which is balancing things here. Find path to player, which sounds like a strange sort of statement, but if AP has deep space colonies greater than or equal to gold deep space colonies, which I think it must have now, move to maximise adjacency to unexplored deep space markers that are furthest from the AP home system, which could include remaining stationary. I'm assuming remaining stationary just means it could include minerals in these. I think that's what that means. I don't know. It's a strange way of putting it, but, well, it's maybe just strange to me. So that means it's going to explore further away now, rather than closer, I think. Which is a bit interesting, okay. Right then, anyway, okay. Well, I'll need to wait until... So actually, that was the right move then, wasn't it? It still was the right move to move in there. It's maximising the adjacency, no matter what way you look at it. That's what it's wanting to do, so it can basically explore a multitude of hexes. Okay, so I'm just going to press on here and hopefully get this part done and get through 3 turns, I hope. So minor 2, well, he can explore either one of these 3. Well, I suppose he's in this situation now. Or is he? Because we no longer... we've achieved the goal. They've achieved the goal. So the first step being... if the AP has fewer deep space colonies than gold deep space colonies isn't true anymore. I don't think, anyway. I'm still waiting on confirmation of that, but I feel like that's us found it, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. Like I say, we could have a colony ship adjacent to that hex and move in and take the barren planet, could we not? I don't know. Okay, so if that doesn't apply, this doesn't apply, this doesn't apply, it's going to look at this. So if AP has deep space colonies... Well, hang on, this is just about moving, Grant. So... okay. So if it has fewer deep space colonies than it prefers using exploration technology on closest to the home system. Yeah, but that's not the case anymore, so it's not going to preference that. Prefer using exploration technology on markers closest to the home system. And this is moving to hexes further. So, what if... I mean, what does it want to explore here? Because it's actually irrelevant. I mean, before, and as it says there, if we didn't have our goal yet, it would want to explore this hex because it's closer to its home system. But it's now got 2 other options, and it's not really breaking that down for me. Prefer using exploration tech on markers closest to the AP home system, then move to maximise adjacency. That's it. That's all we get. So it now doesn't want to prefer this one. So we randomise between the 3, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit vague and all, I think. Right, I was thinking of maybe stepping in using some common sense here though as well. And exploring this hex. That is what I would do right now. Admittedly, if I had miners round about me, it might be different, but because they're built-in miners exploration vessels, because if it explores here, and assuming it's not anything like Lost in Space or anything like that, it goes away, or even if it's asteroids, nebula, barren planet, then it could move in there and be adjacent to 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's kind of what I would do. So I'll just kind of do that. I mean, then again, if it turns out to be like a Lost in Space where it's not going to move into, then it's probably just going to stay where it is and be able to explore the A2 next time. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I should just randomise between the three. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to randomise between the three. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'll just roll this off camera. I'll re-roll a 10. I'll roll the 4. Oh, well, good. That's that one, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so it's going to explore there. F8. So let's see what we get. Right, it's danger. So that goes away. And like I say, now I think it now looks at this step 4, which is find path to player. Which, I don't know, I mean, it wants to move closer to me. I take it that's what that's meaning. Why it wants to do that with its miners, I don't know. It's wanting to kind of gobble up all the deep space markers, isn't it? Because once they're away, then there's no point in these exploration vessels, is there? Or once they're away and all the minerals are away and space wrecks, but because this says if AP has deep space colonies greater than or equal to Goals deep space colonies, which we think we have, move to maximise adjacency to unexplored deep space markers. I suppose that in itself we don't really need to read on because that is in AF8. However, it carries on that are furthest from the AP home system, which could include remaining stationary. So, yeah, I suppose it wouldn't matter if this was getting further away from them or not. It's clearly the best hex to go into to maximise the exploration, isn't it? Okay. Right, that's that. Right, on to the fleet then. Right, I think I'm just going to move it into the barren planet. Can it attack a colony? No. Can it attack a fleet? No. So you could see if it was within 2 of that, I would go in and attack that. Can it advance? Yeah. So it's going to select the nearest enemy colony that can be reached through an explored path. The destination hex is such that it brings the fleet to the colony along the fastest explored route. So, I mean, the best way of doing that is going 1, 2 into here, because then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away from that, which in actual fact, and it's a clear path. Actual fact, it can reach in the next economic, well, after the next economic phase, in the next movement turns, it can reach 4 hexes. So let's do that. Let's move him 1, 2 into here. Oh no, sorry. This is only turn 2. Is that where he was? Yeah, my bad. Sorry. So he's still only moving 1. Right. Okay. So he's going to move into there. That is getting him 1 hex closer to that target. That's his target. Now, whether there comes a point where, remember, it does say that their movement could change. They've got to check it every turn. Whether it gets to a point, and it looks like it might get to a point down here where there could be 2 options, and it's leaving me with very, very little in the way of tiebreakers. Just all I can read is randomise it. So, yeah. Right, well, let's try and finish turn 3 off then. So that's everybody moved, isn't it? So let's reset everybody. Alright, so all reset. And let's move on to turn 3. Stretch. Right, and it's us to go first again. So let's get our stuff dealt with. But remember, that cruiser needs to move now, Grant. Or it's... Well... I don't know, we could entice the fleet in, see what it is. I think that's silly, I think it's a waste of a ship, isn't it? Because it's going to get destroyed. Okay, along here we've got minerals, more minerals here. So I'm going to move them back. You could have went there, but that doesn't make sense. Better going in there with them. And then next turn I've got 3 more 5s there to look at. And that, obviously that 10. With other minor, might as well keep moving out. I mean, as long as it's not moving into... Well, I suppose we should use it as well. A threatened hex, we should use that term as well. Makes sense. So it's not threatened. The colony ship here is going to move into Draconis. Remember, we do have terraforming technology. So we will be able to start colonising that. And we've got a pipeline already built in. Like we planned it. Okay, so finally our cruisers now. I think. Where's... Yeah, the other miners moved too. Okay. So we've got the 2 cruisers here and the 1 here. But I mean, I think I should step back, really. And then he's going to move 1, 2 into here. Oh, remember you can explore, Grant. Well, I'm better exploring here, aren't I? And then I could move back into here. Yeah, let's do that. So let's explore F4 here. Cruiser number 1. F4. No, another danger. They've all been in danger. Right, that clears it away anyway. And I suppose I move back into there then. See, the other thing is I could meet up with these other cruisers and combine the fleet, or whatever the word, merge the fleet together. Because the technologies are just the same. We definitely don't have Move 2, do we? It's not something I recall by purchasing yet. No, we don't. No. So, I don't know with this. Well, I suppose I'll move the cruiser into here. These cruisers into here. They've both got something to explore on turn 1 of the next round. Yeah, that sounds a better term, round. And they're not threatened. And they're also kind of keeping this... They're stopping this miner from moving into there. Which, I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but... that's all my movement then, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so for them... well, let's do this one first. So, again... Let's see if we might have had a quick reply. It seems a little bit too hopeful to get a reply this quick, but I feel like it's a question that somebody's just going to say it's on page 20 whatever or something. You know, well, actually I don't think we start to page 30 something, but you know what I mean. Somebody's just going to point straight at it to me and make it nice and easy, so it might be a quick answer. Okay, sadly no response yet. So, yeah, so we're looking at what this miner's doing, aren't we? I'm just going to randomise between the 3 this time. Because it's... I don't think it was wanting to prefer this one anymore. Again, what could you say which one? Nah, you know what, I'm just going to randomise. So, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Roll off camera. 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be this one here, F6. which might mean it just stays where it is. F6. There's another danger. Right, so does it want to move? It's already adjacent to 2, however it is moving closer to us by moving into there. So move to maximise adjacency to unexplored deep space markers that are furthest from the AP home system. That's not really benefiting them anything much, to be honest, but I think it's going to move in here then, because that's further from the home system. So we'll go with that. It's not a threatened hex, so that's fine. Right, and then this guy, well, right. I'm just going to randomise between these all lengths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll re-roll the rest. Roll the 1. So it's this one, F7. And it's probably not going to move after that, isn't it? This one then, they minerals are still sitting about down there, but they're my home system ones as well. Right, asteroids, F7. So asteroids in there. See, but he's not going to move because he's adjacent to these 3. So he just stays put. Yeah, that's fine. Right, and then their fleet. And remember, they only get 1 movement. They're like our miners, aren't they? They only move 1 hex. Now, but they've got movement technology too. So he can now move 2 hexes. It's pretty straightforward though. He's just going to move into here. It's close. That's his advance. He's wanting to advance. So 1, 2. Again, we're not sure what this is, what state it's in or whatever. And I think that's fine. But next time we look at advancing him then, unless of course he's adjacent to, or he can attack a fleet. Remember, option 1's attack a colony, option 2's attack a fleet, option 3's advance. So as long as we're not adjacent to him, and there's no colonies adjacent to him, he's going to advance. So, 1, 2, this is 3 away, 1, 2, 3, yeah, this is 4 away. Although, both can be reached in the economic phase. So, and it says, an explored path, the destination hex is such that it brings the fleet to the colony along the fastest explored route. So initially we would look, see the problem is that I'm saying it could randomise between these 2 hexes, but if it goes here it's 2 away from that and 3 away from that, still reachable in that phase, or that round. If it goes here, it's 3 away from that and 3 away from that. So it's not moving closer to that. I mean, in the old rules, I would have said that wasn't right. Mind you, I got some of that wrong near the end, I think, where it didn't actually have to be... No, that's not true. Did it not still have to be moving closer? Yeah, I got pulled up a couple of times near the end because I was forgetting that although it said it needed to reach it didn't check the number of hexes, only that it could reach within that phase, within that round. But there's none of that said here. There's none of it talked about, which is strange. Here was me thinking this was going to be a far more detailed part of the game. It should make it smoother in a way, quicker, but I don't know, because I'm going to have to sort of decide, right, what's the best thing for them to do here. Remember, they're not frightened of us. We've got to keep that in mind. They've got 90 points. They don't know what we've got, so is that fair to say they're not frightened of us? You know, we could be sitting with 90 points of a fleet. Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I feel like they're more advanced than us, aren't they? If they're kicking about with a 90 fleet, what are we looking at technology-wise differences? Well, we don't know what they've got. They've got 100 and... No, they've not. They've got 75 points. We know they've got Move 2, they've got Terraforming 1, they've got Exploration 1. That's not bad going. And we don't know they've got 75 points. Whereas we've got Ship Size 3, Terraformer 1, Exploration 1. And we've got, well, technically I suppose we've got about 60 odd points, I suppose. 70 odd points, maybe, because we knock counters up. Yeah, well, we're about to do that when we go into the next economic phase, which is coming up shortly, but I think I'll just stop things there. So hopefully I get the answer back. I don't know if I can start another part or not. Possibly could. I think I'll copy this across first and see if I've got a little bit more time to get started. So everybody's moved. Let's reset everybody. Alright, that's everybody reset. Stretch up, get the turn marker, bring it down to the economic phase, and move our dice on to 6. That's just about to start, economic phase 6. I'll just leave things there. I suppose, let me just quickly jump across the computer in case I've got an answer, and then I can leave it in this video. Maybe deal with it before I go, but it's unlikely. So hang on. Right, so no, not to be, not for now. But hopefully, within the next part, I'd like to think I'll get something, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to start it now anyway, so time might have passed a bit, maybe tomorrow or so, or later maybe. I've got working early the next 3 days, and then we're off on a little holiday after that. But I should get a little bit done the next couple of days, a little bit, nothing major, but anyway, I'll be back when I can. Cheers.